Hello and welcome to Calibre Conversations, our online book festival where we chat to a range of authors in the hope of introducing you to books to add to your reading list and get you enjoying more books in National Year of Reading. My name is Emma and I'm delighted to be joined by author Swapna Haddow, whose books include My Mum is a Lioness, Little Dinosaurs, Big Questions, and she's also the creator of the fabulous Dave Pigeon series, with the first Dave Pigeon book winning the Greenhouse Funny Prize. We're chatting to Swapna today to find out a bit more about her and her books and ask the important questions like, can she speak Pigeonese? So, first of all, a big hello and welcome to you, Swapna.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Now, your readers may not know that you wrote your first book when you were just 8 years old, and so it seemed like a writing career was always where you were destined to be headed. But your background education also suggests other interests. So, can you tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming an author?
So I guess my journey started as a reader. I was a pretty avid reader. We would go to the library every weekend. I think my mum was basically using the library as a babysitter. I spent a lot of my childhood in the library. And it was kind of a natural progression to then want to write my own stories too. So, like you said, when I was about 7 or 8, I found out I had this skill and I could write stories. Unfortunately, what I wanted though were the marbles and stickers everybody else had. And my parents didn't want to buy them because I had several sisters and they said it'd be too expensive. So I had to find a way to get these things. And I would write stories and trade them for marbles and stickers. And so that's basically uh, how I got into writing. And people would come up to me and ask for requests and say, "Oh, it's like my mum's birthday. Um, could you write a story?" And I would write a story about, I don't know, a crocodile in a tree, and then I would bind it with ribbon from the craft corner in the classroom. And yeah, no overheads. It was amazing. And I got my marbles and stickers, and I guess I carried on writing up until I think when I was pregnant with my son, and I was writing a book for him. And where I was working, there was a an artist there who just signed a book deal for a children's book, and she saw the book I was working on for him and said it was brilliant. And that was the first time I thought, wow, I could be paid real money for this, like not marbles and stickers. Yeah, that's kind of what sparked the actual looking into being published. And I entered a funny prize competition, the Greenhouse Funny Prize competition in 2014. I think I entered in 2012 and then I was shortlisted. And then I re entered in 2014. And then I won with a book called Dave Pigeon. And that's kind of where it all started for me. There was a publisher on the judging panel, and then they took the book on. And it's just been an absolute roller coaster for the last 10 years.
What a fantastic journey! Would you say that reading was intrinsic to you writing? So did reading lead to your love of reading and that sort of reading for pleasure? Or did that kind of take you into the writing, or was it just sort of complementary of both?
Yeah, I think what I was doing when I was writing was I didn't know at the time the term was fan fiction. I was basically rewriting the endings of stories and things like that. And my teachers called it me being precocious. Now I know it's fan fiction. Um, so yeah, it went hand in hand. And actually, when young readers or young writers, aspiring writers, ask me for top tips on writing, I'll always tell them to go and read. I think reading is the best way to figure out what you want to write about, um, how you want to write it, what your voice is. It's the best place to feel creative when you're surrounded by other creative things. So if it's not books, it can be art, it could be movies, music, anything. You need to fill your creative well with something before you're able to draw from it and use that to write. So yeah, for me, reading and writing go hand in hand.
Oh, that's great, because that was going to be one of my questions to you later, which you've just answered brilliantly. So, about inspiring young writers who might be listening in. So that's a great top tip. And as we've spoken about, so you've a huge range of stories for children, and one of the series that we've just mentioned and that people might be most familiar with features the excellent Dave Pigeon and his sidekick Skipper. And for those who have yet to experience the madcap fun in these books, can you introduce us to Dave and what they can expect from the stories?
Yeah, so Dave Pigeon is the main character of the Dave Pigeon series. He and his best friend Skipper find themselves in a shed at the bottom of a garden with a typewriter. And they decide to write their memoirs in a bid to help other pigeons navigate the human world. So the whole story, the whole series, everything is always written from a pigeon's point of view. Dave, he what's the nicest way to say this? He finds himself in trouble a lot, and it's often his best friend Skipper who has to kind of help him out of his binds and all his problems. And so they're just like a perfect comedy duo, constantly finding themselves in scrapes. Yeah, and the book is just it's so much fun to write a funny story. It really just removes you from all the disasters going on around you. And so I think, and I hope when readers read Dave Pigeon, they're having a laugh too and they're having a good time.
They are such fun to read, and they're brilliant in audio as well. When you actually hear them aloud, they're absolutely fantastic. So now in your books as well, quite often when you finish the story, it's not quite the end. So you've got some great sort of facts and sort of activities and things at the end of the Dave Pigeon books. And I just wondered, so because it's something I learned actually from reading one of them. What's your favourite pigeon fact?
Oh, my favorite pigeon fact. I've got quite a few actually. A surprising amount of research goes into writing these books. I don't think people realize. Dave Pigeon fact, I would say probably my favorite fact is that you can teach a pigeon to read the alphabet, which was kind of why I set them up with their typewriter. But it's true, you can teach pigeons to read the alphabet. They're not just, strolling in and out of Greg's trying to get a sausage roll, getting on the bus
That's why
on the
they're so
tube. No,
genius, aren't
they're
they? Like,
actually,
yeah.
yeah, that's why they're like the perfect character because they're incredibly smart. They're actually incredibly brave. Um, having delivered like messages during world wars and all sorts of things. But also we've all seen them do really daft things. So they're just like the perfect mix of smart and brave and daft, and you just get this wonderful combination to make an amazing character.
Yeah, they have great comedy presence, certainly in your books. And here's a great little thing for our members and listeners to be able to do. So, can you tell people how can people work out their pigeon name?
Oh, their pigeon name. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I have this on my website. So if you head to my website in fun stuff, you can find out your pigeon name. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. But I think you need the first letter of your first name and the first letter of your surname. And you can find your pigeon name. I think I'm something like Jim Socks Doodoo. There is a relevant point in this in that um, in the very first book, I believe the human lady can't tell the pigeons apart. And so she names them and she asks for some help from a young neighbor who helps name them. So that's where it all comes from. So if you want to know your pigeonese name or your pigeon name, you need to head to the website and find it.
Well, keeping on that name theme, actually, you have got some an absolutely amazing character names in your books, such as Approprius Vastanavius, the parrot who appears in Dave Pigeon Racer, which I absolutely loved. So, how do you choose a character name? Do you start with a name and then the character kind of reveals itself around that, or do you create the name around the character? Where do you get them from? They're absolutely fantastic.
I think they kind of come hand in hand. They sort of pop into my head, character with name. I think sometimes when I'm trying to name a character, because when you're writing young fiction, you don't have endless amount of words to play with. So I will try and use certain characteristics about a character in their name. So the reader is immediately taken to a place where I want to take them. So, for example, in the second book, I think there's a villain. Yes, there is a villain who's planning to turn all pigeons into pigeon nuggets. What a horrendous thing to do. And he's quite a grimy, miserable character. And so I gave him the surname Grimster. And I'm hoping the minute you read that, you're just immediately transported to that kind of icky place of this person who's just, you know, obsessed with his plan of turning all pigeons into pigeon nuggets, that he's just living in squalor, and it's just not a nice place to be. So sometimes I will use characteristics in the name to try and take someone to where I need to take them to understand the character. And sometimes I'll try and be smart and use like the Latin name, because like I said, loads of research goes into this book, and I just want to cram all the facts in there in amongst all the fiction. So I'll sometimes use the Latin name as well to for a bird. If I'm trying to give them something of a regal status, maybe give them some sort of station above other birds or pigeons. So often I will give them, you know, the Latin name because it just sounds fancy.
I think you did that in it was the Royal Coup with the ravens, was it? I think that was the Corvus. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was brilliant. So yeah, no, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. And then moving on to Bad Panda, which is another of your series, where we meet Lynn, the adorably cute panda who hates being cute and would rather be the baddest, meanest panda there is instead. So what was the inspiration behind these stories? It's another really fun character and fun stories.
Yeah, so we had actually just come back off a trip to China with the family, and while we were in China, we got this incredible opportunity to volunteer and help out at Panda Sanctuary, where lots of pandas had moved to because they'd lost their homes to earthquakes or they'd lost their parents, and they were living in this sanctuary, and they just needed kind of people to help clear it up and make sure it was really nice for the pandas. And we were really lucky to do that. And so I obviously came away buzzing with ideas about pandas. I didn't meet any bad ones. I only met really lovely, gentle, beautiful creatures. But it did make me think, because every single video we took, it's some of us, one of us, all 10 of us just cooing in the background, going, oh, look. And it just made me think, oh my goodness, like, what would it feel like if that's all you heard all day long, and you just wanted to like break out and do something completely bonkers? So yeah, that's kind of where the story came from. I just thought how brilliant to kind of put these two characteristics together, one adorably cute being with just a massive anger issue, and squish them together and make this incredible character. It does take a lot to set Lynn off, but when she's been set off, she's just, you know, it's a massive explosion. It's like a panda volcano.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's such a fun character. I loved writing those stories.
She's very fun to read. Again, great in audio. Like, I was really chuckling with that. It was brilliant. And sort of going on with your stories, you've got such a wide range of stories, and as I said, characters before. And I just wondered, do your own childhood experiences shape your stories, and how important is it for you to create books that represent your background and reflect you as well?
Yeah, they definitely do. I think um, one thing I noticed as an adult looking back at the things I read was that I didn't really see myself in the pages of books. I didn't read many books. I barely remember reading any books that had characters that were brown or Indian, or, you know, kind of any characters of color really. And so for me, there is a few things going on when I'm writing my books. It's really important that I get to represent my culture and you know, the things that are important in my life as well. So I've been very lucky to write books about Diwali and Holi and all these important festivals that are in my culture. I think it's also important that, you know, I wrote books that are about just brown kids doing very normal things like going to a dance lesson. So I've been very lucky to have a platform and write books like Ballet Bunnies, and lots of the educational readers are about just kind of brown kids doing very normal things. And then this other side is that I feel really importantly for other brown writers, especially young writers, that they don't get pigeonholed into just writing about their culture and feeling like we have to fit this niche. So it was really important to me that, kind of regular, funny, silly books like Dave Pigeon and The Terrible Trio had my name on it. And so when kids went in and they were like, oh my God, look, there's a brown woman doing this stuff as well, writing books that compete with other graphic novels and other fictional stories on the shelves. All of those things matter to me. So I think you see that in kind of my eclectic collection of books. I'm also somebody who isn't very good at sitting still. So when I was a kid, I was diagnosed with ADHD. So my brain kind of just has a lot of things going on. And I think that's representative of the fact that I'll just jump around. I'm writing nonfiction and picture books and fiction and graphic novels and the whole lot. So I've been very lucky to have an agent who will find homes for all of this stuff. I think it's really important that young brown writers know that they can write about their culture and be proud of that. And they can write whatever they want as well and be proud of that.
Well, that's absolutely great for us readers who are following you, because that just means that there's lots more to come as well. It seems from what you're saying. So you've got an army of readers who will love hearing that as well. And I guess you occasionally meet them too when you're lucky enough to. I'm sure you've been asked some great questions over your time. So what is the best question you've ever been asked by them, and what was your reply? Do you remember?
Oh, I get asked so many brilliant questions. I'm trying to think. I do remember once being asked, I don't know if this is the best question, but it's certainly one that stuck in my mind. That somebody once asked me, would I rather eat, I think it was dried unicorn skin or moldy bread?
It's quite
And
specific.
yeah, very specific. And I mean, I love a unicorn, but I just thought, wouldn't that taste like rainbow bacon? That would be amazing. And I'm not partial to moldy bread, so I said the unicorn skin, and everyone was horrified. I was like, what? But
I've never
it,
thought, but that's so
what?
interesting though.
It'd be some sort of like rainbow jerky, surely. What? Was that not the obvious answer?
When you've explained it like that, yes.
Yeah.
Makes
But no,
perfect
everyone
sense.
was horrified. They were like, what? You'd eat a unicorn? Just
And then the not thinking about how whether unicorns actually exist or not. It's just the horrifying nature of it. Thank you. That's great answers to those two questions. And I want to go on to your latest series, actually, which I have just finished reading, which I absolutely love. So the latest series is called The Terrible Trio. It features Zeb the zebra, Margarine the penguin, again, great name, and Barry the lemur. Can you tell us a little bit about these characters and what they might get up to in those stories?
Yeah, so this is my latest series with Minky Stapleton. It's our first graphic novel together, and I love this series. I know I shouldn't have favorites, but I really do love this series a lot. So Zeb, Margarine, and Barry, they meet in a queue where all the animals in the world are receiving superpowers. Now, unfortunately for them, they are at the end of the queue, and anyone that's ever stood in a queue for free stuff knows that if you're at the front of the queue, you get the good stuff, and if you're at the end, you may not get anything. And that's kind of what happens with these three. They get the worst superpowers in the world because the squirrel handing out the superpowers has basically run out of ideas. And so the whole series is about these three characters and how they find their place in a superpower world with the worst superpowers in the world. So in the very first book, Zeb struggles with his superpower, which hopefully I'm not spoiling it, but he basically has the superpower of blending with the zebra crossing, which is not great. If you're a zebra, it's probably quite deadly. And he struggles with that, but it's a very uplifting story about friendship and about finding your place in the world, and knowing that whoever you are, you have a superpower. It's just about finding it and knowing how to use it. And so, yeah, I don't want to give too much away. The second one's just come out. It's called The Day the Mac and Cheese Ran Out, and the third one is on the way. And I've just seen the artwork for it, and it's so funny. Minky's artwork is absolutely brilliant. I hope you enjoy it. If you love Dave Pigeon or Bad Panda, you'll love this series.
Yes, I concur with that absolutely. And the what's great about the Terrible Trio as well is the format is it's very heavily illustrated, isn't it? So it's great for readers who might sort of find kind of print books in that way a little bit daunting. So they can pick that up, and it's very easily accessible for everybody really.
Yeah, I think so. And like you said, in the National Year of Reading, if you found, young readers have lost their way, or maybe found they've not enjoyed books, or they picked them up before when they were younger and then put them down, or maybe never even picked them up before, this might be the great kind of transition book for them because of all the illustrations. It's very funny. It's an easy read, and it's also I've seen lots of classes get in touch as well and have read it together as a class, which is really wonderful because there's loads of voices to do. So if you want to put your teacher under pressure, this is the one. So I'm kind of hoping this is a perfect book for that National Year of Reading to get kids excited about reading again.
And I'm just going to go into the other format that we're massive champions of here, obviously at Calibre Audio. The format, the audio format for our members is really important because it makes it accessible for our members to be able to access reading. I'm delighted to be able to promote that many of your titles are available in audio. Do you ever listen to audiobooks yourself at all? And would you ever narrate one of your stories?
I love audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks as regularly as I read them. I like to have a few books on the go, but it sort of confuses my brain if I'm reading like lots of print books. So I have a separate book I'm listening to on audio. I have a separate book that I'm reading in print. I'm doing my edits. So I have a few things on the go. One of my favorite things in the whole entire world is to be read to. So an audiobook is like perfect. It's just the most lovely thing to just sit back and have someone read to you. Would I narrate my own books? Herein lies the problem, because as a writer, I never finish editing my work. I just have a deadline that I have to send stuff in. And so eventually I'm just like, it's good enough. So I'll send it in. And then I'll do a school event and I'll be reading the book and I'll be editing it as I go along. And eventually a child will put their hand up and say, that's not what it says on the screen. I'm like, I know. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I keep doing this. I keep editing this work as I'm reading it. So no, I would be terrible. I should never narrate my own books because you're not going to get the version that's in the book. Yeah, we've had so many brilliant narrators. We've got Chris. Oh God, I can't remember his name. This is so bad. A brilliant guy who does the Dave Pigeon books. We've also
Is that
got
Sam Devereaux? Was it Sam Devereaux did the Dave Pigeon?
Oh, Sam Devereaux. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yes.
Yeah, he was
And then we
brilliant.
we've got Bad Panda that's narrated. The Terrible Trio will be narrated as well.
It's coming in audio,
yeah,
is it? Oh,
it's
fantastic.
coming. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think in America it's already out. But hopefully it'll be tracking its way around the world.
Fantastic. Now, here's a little question just to find out a little bit more about you and what you like. Authors often present elements of themselves in their books, and Dave Pigeon and his friends love a good edible treat. So from croissants to eclairs to ice buns, and not forgetting those biscuits with jam in the middle. So are any of the Pigeons' favourite treats inspired by your own at all?
Yes, all of them. I love them all. Yeah, I should stop writing books when I'm hungry. It just becomes a shopping list, doesn't it? There's a lot of stuff these pigeons eat. I love a sweet treat. Jammy biscuits, jammy Dodgers are my favorite. I love a Jaffa cake. Yeah, I just love all. Do you know what's one of the saddest things about moving to New Zealand, which is basically paradise, apart from the fact that they don't have Jaffa cakes here. You have to go to a
Oh,
British specialist shop to get Jaffa cakes. So,
that is quite sad.
yeah, sad times.
Well,
Yeah,
we can post some out
anything,
for you.
any book that has food in it is probably comes straight off my shopping list. And yeah, it's probably what I ate that day.
Well, it's good for the creative juices, though, isn't it? So it's good for inspire sort of feed. You have to feed your brain, don't you? So that's a good way to do it. I must admit, I had a massive craving for a nice bun after reading the first couple of Dave Pigeons. So yeah. So following on from that, can you give us one fun fact that people may not know about you?
Okay, a fun fact about me. I've got a few, but I use a few of them in my events, so I don't want to ruin that. I know I have one that's relevant to Wednesday this week. I am a competitive jigsaw puzzling athlete, and I'll be competing in the New Zealand Masters Games on Wednesday. So there we go. I
No
like doing
way.
jigsaws very fast.
Then that's actually epic. The New Zealand Masters at Jigsaw. That is fantastic. Who even
I
knew that
know I've got an
existed?
athlete's badge and everything. We had an opening ceremony at the weekend. There was a torch. It was amazing.
So how many pieces puzzle do you do then in a
It's a
competition? So is it
500-piece puzzle. And so you're given 6 hours to do it, but essentially the fastest wins. And then places are given to those, who finish after. And anyone who finishes after 6 hours, they count up the pieces and they give you a spot accordingly. So yeah, that's kind of how you do it. And yeah, you just have to be super fast.
what's your fastest time?
Oh, to do a 500-piece puzzle. Oh, I've written it down somewhere. I got it with me. No, it's just over 2 hours.
Good grief.
I can't find the thing. Yeah. But in fairness, it was quite an easy puzzle. I really struggle with. I heard last year was a picture of Cardrona Hotel, which is a place in New Zealand, which when it's near a ski resort. And I imagine that the puzzle was mainly white sky and white floor. I struggle with white a lot. So if we get that this year, I'm I'm really gonna struggle with that. So yeah, there's certain colors I struggle with. I can do a puzzle fast if it's very patterned. Like ironically, I could do, say, a Where's Wally puzzle really fast. But if it's just like solid color, especially if it's like a light color, I'm just jamming in pieces where they're not meant to be.
Does that reflect your busy brain? Do you think that you're better at
It
seeing things
might
that are
do.
really
Yeah, I'd
busy?
not thought about that. Probably.
Amazing. That would take me 2 weeks to do a 500-piece puzzle, let alone 2 hours. That's astonishing. That was great. Thank you so much. Now, lastly, before you go, I just wondered if we can get a little bit of a teaser on what your next project might be at all. Are you working on anything at the moment?
Oh, yes, I have a few things. Um, so we have the second Terrible Trio book, which just came out, and then we have the third one on the way in May. If anyone's enjoying nonfiction at the moment, I have an amazing series which started with How to Save Your Granny from a Runaway Train last year. That's illustrated by the awesome Jess Bradley. And we have two more books this year. We have How to Make Diamonds from Your Pencils. I think that's coming in March. And then we have How to Stop a T-Rex from Eating Your Socks. And all of them have these kind of real and not so real dilemmas that are solved by science. And lots of science you can do at home as well or in your schools. So that's really exciting because I love science, and it has lots of comic strips, and it's got the usual chaos of a Swapna Haddow book in there. And then what else do we have? Oh, yes. Okay. I don't want anyone to be sad, but we do have the finale of the Dave Pigeon series coming in March.
Yeah.
It's a nice, happy, beautiful ending. It's not, it's very open. It doesn't mean I won't come back to it. It's just that I think maybe the pigeons need a break for a little bit while I work on a few other things. And I've left it beautifully open, and I've left a wonderful letter in there. So nobody hates me too much. The pigeons are not killed off, I promise. But I hope it's a really, really fun ending to the series. There's heaps of Easter eggs in there for hardcore fans, and so much fun stuff in there for anyone that's new to the series. So I promise it's the perfect ending for the series. And it doesn't mean I'm not coming back to it. It's just need a little break.
Oh, I will look forward to that, but it also might be the book that I take the longest to read because I don't want to finish it either. So it might be on my pile for a while.
Dave Pigeon readers are so fast.
And great to get all the plugs in for the non-fiction books as well, because we haven't really covered that, and you've got a fantastic array of non-fiction, so those kind of fact books that are really easily and accessible and just inspiring, really. So to get sort of kids into that science and exploring background too, I think is really important and brilliant, and you cover that really well. So Swapna, thank you so much for joining us today. You've written such a wide range of books, both, as we said, fact and fiction, that I think there's something for every kind of reader. So there's plenty to be discovered to make you laugh and make you think, and maybe help you understand a little bit about yourself and how others might be feeling too. So we're very lucky at Calibre Audio. We've Swapna's books in our collection for our members to borrow. And if you feel like you might need a gigantic laugh, then I can thoroughly recommend the Dave Pigeon and the Bad Panda series, which had me chuckling throughout. And I just finished the Terrible Trio last night, actually. So I'm always going to add that into the mix now as well, which is absolutely brilliant. If you want to see a full list of Swapna's books, find some fun activities to do, particularly, as she mentioned, find your pigeon name earlier on as well, then head to her website, which you can find at swapnahaddow.com. So that only leaves me to say a big thank you to you, Swapna, for joining us today. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And happy reading, everyone.